ensemble versus a film that's focused on one or two characters?
You're talking storyline or record?
Let's go both.
Recording-wise, always ensemble. Just, you know, a major part of acting is reacting. And so if we're having a conversation, you're going to react differently by what I say to you than if all by yourself you have to just have your half of the conversation. It's just more interesting artistically. It's also easier because what I have to do when I record people separately, and I was trying to remember, were you in Los Angeles when we recorded? Did we record while you were here?
He did New York there and ADR here, I think.
I did New York, yeah, I did both.
But the initial record was here?
I think
it was there.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes, I mean, the actors aren't even in the same city. And my job is to make sure that it comes into a cohesive piece that makes sense, that they sound like they're talking to each other. And, you know, you see the whole piece put together, and we've worked on it for forever, and I still see things I would tweak and change and project and fix. And this could have flowed more smoothly. But when I have to record people individually, I have to remember what the actor who spoke before him did, what they sounded like, and what the actor afterwards sounded like, so that their piece of the puzzle fits in and makes sense. So for me, it's more work for me to record actors separately. But just logistically, actors were, and I think you were in Los Angeles.
I was
in Vancouver. You just come in from Vancouver. Right. I think you were still shooting. So, and Nathan, you know, bless his heart, he hardly ever says no. He's just the greatest guy to say yes so often. But I think we recorded him on a Sunday, and he had like an hour and a half window.
Of a holiday weekend.
Of a holiday weekend. And we were like, absolutely, we'll do it, Nathan, if you'll do it. And he was like there. And then all those other wonderful actors. And the majority of the characters with smaller roles, and I don't mean that they were less important roles, I just mean they didn't have as many lines of dialogue. I was lucky enough to get them all in the room at the same time because I can book them in a 4-hour session. And that's the way most voiceover sessions are booked, 4-hour sessions. So you get them all in, you record all their lines, you get them out in 4 hours. So I did have some ensemble record that went on, and that was always really nice. The other thing is, when you record actors separately, and people are doing character voices, you don't know until later that, oh no, this, you know, guard number 3 and thug number 2 sound exactly the same, even though they're different actors and they were recorded 3 weeks apart. When they're in the room at the same time, they can go, okay, you need to be higher in your voice, you need to be lower, you add some gravel, you add some texture, you do this, and you alter the voices enough so they don't sound the same.
But there's also all that give and take of the actors having their all in the same room.
Absolutely.
Like when Mark and I were together, there's so much
Absolutely.
interaction. And what you were saying is so true. You get juice from the other actor.
Yeah.
It feeds you.
Yeah.
And then you give back.
It makes everybody better. I was saying before too, it's like a tennis game where you play with somebody who's equally as good or better than you, and you bring your game up to theirs, and that's what happens with the actors. It's almost a competition. You watch them and go, oh, you really, you know, shoot up that scenery. Let me get a little bit better than that. And so you get this really one-upmanship that works really well.
We were talking about it earlier. That's the big difference with doing the gaming now, because that you really are totally isolated. You're in a room for hours and hours and hours at a time, day after day after day, and you have to be entirely self-motivated, and it's really difficult.
The trick is in making it organic and seeming as though you're alone. And that's not easy. That's why we have wonderful directors to help us.
It's hard
with the beginning and the end.
And making the puzzle all fit together.
I think you told me you did 3,000 lines for Arkham City.
It's something like that.
Something crazy.
And that's multiple takes for every line. So think about how many times he said.
Can you do that a little happier? Can you do a little sadder? Can you do a little irony? Irony with a smile.
We did this last time. I think they might enjoy you giving them a lesson in voice acting.
You want to do some Walla?
Yeah.
Come on, it'll be fun. I didn't prepare this. I should have thought of some stuff for you to do. So it's always, whenever you have crowd scenes, like you saw, like when it was actually Metallo up on top of the Daily Planet, the guy that was going to commit suicide. Okay, and you have all the crowd down at the bottom of the, looking up, it's Superman, it's falling off. So what happens is that I usually get maybe 5 or 6 actors in the room at the same time, and we do one pass at it, and then, okay, the other people, and then we run it again, and Victor. But the benefit is I have, what, 250 people. So for all the people that are running this thing, there's no scary thing going on, and we're going to make everybody scream, so it's not like, don't call the fire department, okay? So here's what I want you to do first is, you see a guy up on the top of the building, top of the Daily Planet, and he's about to jump. So I need you to do the general wall of like, what's going on? Who is he? What is that guy? What's happening? All together. Ready? And.
Oh my God, let's go. And now,
Superman is falling, and so much more intense. You're going to start it big. You're going to start it louder, bigger. So, oh, it's good, much bigger, and then we're going to cut off. Okay, ready? And.
Oh my God!
I need some good girly screams over there. Not the guys, the girly screams, but I want all the guys to do the same things you just did, but I want the women to give me good girly screams. Don't hurt their throats. Together. Ready? And.
Oh my
You recorded that, you're not getting paid.
No therapy this week, George.
You're all good. You all have had wonderful careers in different disciplines, but all in this one. Can you, especially this genre, what memento, what's the most significant or special memento you've collected or kept?
Oh, I can tell
From
you.
all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You mean
Emmys.
yeah, I got a couple of Emmys I dress up. But I had the great good pleasure of working with and directing, not directing, I wasn't directing yet. I was a casting director at Hanna-Barbera, working with Mel Blanc. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. And at the time I was the casting director, and part of my job was also to Xerox the scripts, write the actor's name on the script, which characters they were playing, put out the music stands that they worked off of, and then at the end of the session, clear those papers away. And Mel was doing the Jetsons. He was Mr. Space on the Jetsons. We made a bunch of those episodes. And what was so fascinating about Mel, aside from his stunning talent, was he used to mark every single word on the script. One line, two lines, an accent here, a curve there, squiggling on every single word. He plotted out how he was going to do it. And at the end of one of the sessions, I was cleaning off all the stands, and he had left his script on the stand. And so I have his script with all of his individual.
That's very cool.
It's very cool. That's my favorite memento.
That's
Very
cool.
cool.
Wow.
It is. It
Yes.
really is. It's very special.
I did a movie called Atlantis for Disney, and played Dr. Sweet, and they gave me the maquette that the animators make, the three-dimensional kind of sculpted figure, and it stands proudly in my house, and it's just great with all of his doctor stuff and the stethoscope in the bag, and just beautiful workmanship based right off of Ron Husband, who was the artist, off of his artwork. So yeah, it's tremendous. You got nothing?
When Warner first started the stores, the Warner stores, they asked me to do appearances to promote the show, and they wouldn't pay me for the appearances. And I thought, well, I'll do one or two, and I'll promote, because it was like in '92 when the show was just starting, '93. And I'll do one or two, and they were selling lots of cells when I was going to these appearances, and I realized they were making a fortune off these appearances. And I was still doing them as promotion. I said, you're making like a lot of money on this. They said, well, we can't, just on principle, we can't pay the actresses as promotion. I said, well, why don't you give me a cell? And they said, oh, well, that won't cost us anything. I said, well, how about two?
How many did you
They
get?
started giving me two an appearance, so I've got
A good collection.
close to 100.
At least two of the people on this panel don't really collect comics. I think one does. How many are in your home, Phil?
Like legitimately 17,000.
Did I know?
About 17,000. I started in '66. I got the first comic, which was Tales of Suspense. It was a twofer. It was Iron Man and Captain America. And my grandmother took me into a drugstore in Cleveland, Ohio, and I've been collecting them ever since, diligently. Except for, this is the weird part. In the last year, I've been working on this other show that I do, and I just hadn't gotten to the comic book store. That's right when they changed the whole DC universe around, and I missed it. I missed it. I mean, I've got to get the graphic novels. I've got to make a fortune to go get all the books. So anybody on?
I know some people too.
Connected with DC.
I gotta get on that because
What? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
it changed
You should
drastically.
touch base with Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark has a
Oh, yeah.
collection.
Amazing.
Well, people who collect like
The
that,
two of you. my
it's
God.
just, I mean, it's
Stop
obsession.
looking at me.
And I walk into a comic book store, I don't even think about who I am when I walk in the door. And we start talking about what we're doing and what I'm working on and everything. And then I notice that there's like 25 people who will come in, the guys on the phone going, oh, they're small, you gotta get it. So there's things that happen just because I'm a fan as well that I'm so excited about. Like when I saw myself fly for the first time in ADR on Smallville, it was crazy fun. You know? So I lose my stuff just like all of you. I'm in here, I'm Vandal Savage. Of course, I want to win. But I want them to beat my butt. Because I'm the fan. The fan takes over the actor. It's crazy. It's awesome.
If you want comic books, you stand outside of Bruce Timm's office once a month when he goes through his DC box.
Sure,
And he
throws out.
He costs like 2/3 of it.
Throw out his advice. He leaves it up for anybody else to take them.
Yeah, it's like leaving your dresser on the way for people to come by.
He's got so many. His wife is like, his wife isn't nearly as tolerant.
I built a wall unit.
Yeah.
That's how I got out of it.
He's got a room.
All right, I'm tired of asking questions. I think some people want to win prizes. So, I've got 2 scripts that are autographed by almost the entire cast. And I've got a couple 3 DVDs that are Blu-ray combo pack. Blu-ray combo pack for sale February 28th. Everywhere.
Really good questions, though, you guys. You have to ask them
Yeah,
really good questions.
and that's just going to get in a throwaway. But I have FedEx forms. You're going to put your name and address on it. And you're going to have it the day it comes out. So we'll start right there in the kind of stripe into that shirt. Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah.
There's a microphone for you.
Oh, thanks. Andrea.
Oh, say your name.
Oh, I'm Sean. Hi. I love all the work you've done, and I know you've done so many cartoons, and like I just saw the Avatar Last Airbender, and I was just wondering, you're in demand. How do you like choose which projects to work on? You know, nowadays, now I'm sure everybody's like getting down your door to work on everything.
I hardly ever say no. There's a lot of factors. It has to do with what day of the week they want to record, because if I'm already doing a series on Monday mornings that I can't give them Monday mornings, that's when they want to record. That's one of the factors. There's a lot of things. Does the piece appeal to me? Do I feel like it plays to my strong suit, something I can do? Do I think it's funny? Do I think it's, am I doing exactly the same thing I just already did? Is it something that challenges me, is interesting for me? But I'm very lucky that I'm offered a lot of work, and I think I have 11 projects in production right now, 11 different active projects in production right now.
And yet she takes a month off every year and rubs it in on all of us.
I just started doing this. It's my saving, it makes me sane. I tell everybody a year in advance what month I'm taking off, and then I take a whole month off, and that's how I get through. I mean, I am in the recording studio 9 till 6 every single day of the week, and sometimes Saturdays and Sundays. I do all my prep work for that at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you may think I'm joking, but Gary Mariano can attest to the fact that he'll get an email from me at 4 o'clock in the morning, because that's when I'm up. Because it takes a lot of preparation to get ready to walk in and record. You just don't walk in and do the session and be done. A lot of prep work to get to it, especially if I'm casting the series as well. And so I'll do all that prep work from 4 till like 8, maybe get a little bit of exercise in if I can, and then go record all day long. But it helps that I love my work. So.
You wouldn't deserve it. You wouldn't deserve your break.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have to be up at 4 in the morning, exhausted, and you get the email from her saying, I'm taking a month off. Thanks, have a good time. How about over there with the two-tone kind of thing going there? Yeah, that's you. No, okay, well, we're going to the guy with the red tie.
Andrea, considering how small and intimate the voiceover acting world is, what is it for you as a casting director that you look for to jump off the page when it comes to a voiceover demo?
Number one, acting ability. A lot of people can do lots of voices, and they're very clever, and they're lots of fun at a party. But if they can't act, I can't really hire them. It's really initially about the acting. I can teach certain things in a recording session. I can teach microphone technique. I can teach people how to manipulate their voices. I cannot, in a 4-hour session, teach someone how to act. So for a demo, I'm looking for acting ability. I'm looking for originality. I'm looking for versatility. And even if you only do one voice, if you do it better than anybody else, then you have a chance. And basically, it's some sort of philosophy I have in life, which is there's always room for excellence. And if you are excellent, there's a place for you. You have to have tenacity too. You have to really stick to it and pursue and pursue and pursue, because there's competition, a lot of competition, but you know, basically it's those factors for a demo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now remember to say your name. Now we'll come back down a couple of rows to the fellow. Yeah, there you go.
This is a question for the whole panel.
What's your name?
My name's Tim. I'm a huge Dwayne McDuffie fan, and I was wondering if you on the panel could relate maybe an anecdote, a favorite story about Dwayne, a favorite script, any kind of story about it.
I'll go first.
Well, yeah,
I worked with him a lot.
Adored
Adored the man. So lucky that I had him in my life. I am blessed that he was a friend as well as a coworker. But aside from all these DC projects that were done, which I love working on these with him specifically because he took these graphic novels and made them actable. And I think you guys can attest to this because you read the graphic novel, and you know there's something on the page that you read that way, but when you work with a script, it's got to be actable. It's got to be something that the actors can work with, that I can direct. But I also had the great good fortune of working with him on Ben 10, this great series that I did for Cartoon Network. And Glenn Murakami was the producer of that as well. And I don't have any specific stories except that whenever I would see a script that would have Dwayne's name on it, I would just say, I'm in. Sign me up. Because I know that he would not do anything that wasn't top quality, and that he would give me something that I could direct and that the actors could relate to and that they could actually work through very comfortably.
I first met Dwayne when we were doing Static Shock. I met him at the same time I met Dennis Cowan. And I knew that both of them from the Milestone comics, which I was incredibly proud of because it opened up a whole world of counter-culture superheroes that were desperately needed. So I met Dennis, and you meet Dennis, and Dennis is a pretty type A guy. You know, he's going to come out there, Phil Morris, hey, you're a martial artist, I'm into the martial arts, blah, blah, blah. You know, we're doing Static Shock with Phil Lamar, and it's great. It's a great session. The session's going great. I'm having a great time, and I see this kind of quiet, big guy at the console, and he really hasn't said much, you know. We have a break, and I'm outside, and I feel this little tap on my shoulder. I felt it. And it was Dwayne. And here I'm a fan of his, and he was so humble, and he was so modest, and he was so supportive of my work. And here he's created this thing. I mean, he really was the guiding force. But you would never have known it because of his humility, his modesty, almost shy in a way. And some of the best, most talented people I've ever met have that kind of humility. And I was so taken with it, and so taken with him, that I just turned around and I gave him a big hug. I was like, Big Ben, come over here. And so we became, you know, not close friends, but we were very respectful of each other, and I truly honored his work. He was a master of the genre, and I was honored to utter his words.
I was going to actually hit the same word I was going to use, which was modest. He was such a modest guy. He was such a sweet guy. And because he was so incredibly talented, and there are a lot of egos in Hollywood that you have to deal with, and it just wasn't there. He was he seemed so appreciative of all the talent around him that he made you feel great. First time I met him, he said, oh my God, I love your work so much. You love my work. Nothing. Yes. I love it. This script, I think, is so good. Do you realize, any idea how complicated the script is? All those, what we mentioned before about all those different plot lines of taking out each of the Justice League, and keeping track of it all and cutting back and forth and back and forth. That's a lot of storylines to keep juggling in the air all through this thing and make sense out of it. He's an incredibly talented guy.
And a genius. I mean, literally genius.
Oh,
incredibly smart.
Graduated college is
17 at college? What? Ridiculous.
Younger?
Young.
Like
He was a child. Genius.
I'll tell you this. We a year ago this week we came here to the Paley Center in New York and had an incredible weekend and fun and wonderfulness. And I'm looking up at Charlotte. And it was amazing. and then we went to LA and had the premiere there. Both sides were sold out, blockbuster, and I got the chance to get a picture together, and he told me it was like one of the best weeks of his life, and I cherish that. But it was because of you people really, really appreciating what went on. And he would be as excited about, well, I mean, he was pretty pumped when Gina Torres teased him in the booth and things like that. But he just loved getting the kind of appreciation that you guys had for the work you did. So I'm sure he would thank you for that right now.
I hope you realize that, how much we appreciate the energy that you send our way. We really do register. The loyalty of especially the animation audience is just incredible, and keeps us going.
I do have this parting thought that Alan Burnett told me. He said on the flight home, he got on the plane, and I guess he took an inner seat because, and Alan said he got on the plane and all he saw was just the sea of heads that Dwayne. Okay, who's right there with the beard?
My name is Marco. Wanted to say thank you to everybody. Earlier you spoke about all the different takes on the lines. What is some of the more memorable directions that Andrea's given you on the movie or something?
Do it better.
She can sew, because she knows how to talk to actors, which many directors don't know how to do. They'll say really clumsy things that are insulting or that just, can make you feel bad. She has a very artful way of saying, now can you try, and she'll very artfully sort of posit some comment, and I'll say, does that mean act better? Is that the note, act better?
With more talent?
So she's a master.
For me, it's what she kind of doesn't say. You know what I mean? A lot of directors can want to give you a line reading. It's this, and we never get that from Andrea. I mean, she'll give us an approximation. It's like this. Well, think of this, as opposed to doing it for us. And that shows a couple of things. It shows a command of her domain. She doesn't feel intimidated by any of us, and she has great respect for us. So she doesn't deign to kind of condescend to our talent, and that is refreshing. And it allows you great freedom to go places that you might not be brave enough to go otherwise. And that's what it did for me, because I just started kind of working with her. I don't even know quite how it happened, but I know that it started happening, and as I was working, I was like, I really like this. I can do this for a while. This is all right. This is the way it is. And trust me, it isn't the way it always is.
No.
So we're always fortunate. Yes, we're always fortunate to work with her.
Thank you.
There's a big difference between mimicking and having something come out of you organically. There's a huge difference, and you can hear it in the performance. And Andrea knows that. So she never gives line readings. A lot of casting directors give line readings. And to me, as soon as they do it, it's a killer. Because as soon as they bring you a line reading, well, I can't do it that way. It's going to sound like I'm imitating somebody. So then you have to think of some other way to approximate what they've asked for. Whereas if she gets you thinking down the road she wants you to go, then you'll organically come up with the sound.
Now, this is very kind. Thank you, you guys. And I love actors, and this is why I do what I do. And I don't give you guys line readings because organically you guys come up with your own thoughts. But it's not to say that I have not ever given a line reading. Because sometimes you're working someone through it and working and they're not finding and they're not finding and it's like I can tell you how to do it. And usually people go, God, just tell me. You say it this way, and then you have to get them to make that their own. It's like, I need you to hit this word. I know it's not coming out organically, but I need you to say, we have to go that way. Not we have to go that way. It's We have to go that way, because you're pointing. We have to go that way. We have to go that way. No, we have to go that way. So I will give line readings. I don't not ever give line readings, but I never have to give these guys line readings. Thank you.
Lady in the middle there. Say your name.
Hi, I'm Melissa. Okay, so I was just wondering, the script material, I don't want to say it's like sensitive, but it's like a lot of people's childhoods. It's like, it's kind of like watching it like getting ripped apart and then all put back together. So how is dealing with that? Because like obviously like watching.
I'm sorry. What is ripped apart and
like just because like we grew up with all these characters and they're never going to die. They seem so invulnerable, and then they all seemed like they met their like downfalls all at once. It was like almost heartbreaking in a sense, and then you watch them like rise back up. So how was dealing with that? Like, did you have a certain way of treating that than you would have normally? Because I mean, I don't know.
You know, as I watched this piece, there was I think I know what you're talking about, but when I thought, you know, when Superman gets shot in the chest and you think he's dead, I got teary. I did. I was like, wow. And then, you know, when he's healed and you watch his chest heal after John Jones has pulled the kryptonite bullet out, and there's that minute of, oh, is he going to make it? And then he moves and it's like, oh my God. And so I think that's what's compelling about this piece, is that you see them all close to their doom, which is the title, after all. But, you know, I think that's what makes it such a compelling story, is that you see that they're all vulnerable. They come very close to that point when they are lost to us, and then they come back. And I have to credit a lot to Laura Montgomery, the animation director, for making those pieces also visually so compelling and so that draw you into it. Am I answering your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys want to address that?
I think I understand. I think it's that sense of drama that we all love and we don't want to let go of, you know? And that's a tribute to the magic of the craft, because we all kind of think that Batman, Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and the Justice League are going to be around forever. But it's when you immerse yourself in that moment, and for actors, it's don't play the result, right? That's what we're taught all the time. Don't play the end of the scene. Play the scene. Get to the end of it. And so that the magic is in not revealing the trick and not revealing the result of this action, but allowing you to take this journey, and each actor takes his or her own specific journey without the mind on the result of it, but staying in the moment, so it's actually happening ostensibly right now. And when that happens right now, and you're caught up in it, and then they come back, you're like, oh my gosh, I thought they were gone. And that's the magic, isn't it? And that's the suspension of disbelief that we have that allows us to continue to come back to these